Hello and welcome to the Lazy Book Club podcast, the book club for those who don't want to read or leave the house. My name is Matt Gonzalez.
My name is David Cox.
And my name is Josh Matheson.
And this week we are looking at chapter 6, which is Pig and Pepper.
Pig and Pepper, correct.
So not really giving a lot away in terms of what could be coming up.
A pig.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming,
pepper?
I mean, with all the animals she's been meeting so far, I'm assuming she's meeting a pig.
It's a solid choice by Lewis. You just like, do you know what? Just bring it back down to something
concise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, last week she had a rather annoying conversation with a rather rude caterpillar.
Yeah.
And then got accused of being a snake by a pigeon. But that was pretty much all that happened in the chapter. It was quite an action-lacking chapter, really.
She did a bit more. The growing was it started getting a bit bizarre. Like, neck growing. And then there was one bit where she just had her head in her shoes.
Yeah, just a
Which,
head
to be
with
fair,
a pair of shoes.
do you remember she was moaning about, oh, well, if only I didn't have any shoulders?
Yeah, it's true. It's
Hey,
all come
presto,
full circle.
baby.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll do that.
It's
She
all
did
come full
say
circle. Right, well, so we find out what the Pig and Pepper's all about.
Yes, let's.
Defo.
Let's dive in.
Chapter 6, Pig and Pepper. For a minute or two, she stood looking at the house and wondering what to do next, when suddenly a footman in livery came running out of the wood. She considered him to be a footman because he was in a livery. Otherwise, judging by his face only, she would have called him a fish.
Yeah. That came out of the... I was going like, yeah, I'm imagining it. I'm really like...
Downton Abbey,
and then
good.
No, done.
So I'm imagining, have you ever seen SpongeBob SquarePants?
Yes.
Where like the anchovies turn up at the Krusty Krab and they just go, meh, meh, meh. I'm just imagining that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm imagining. Just this fish running up to a door.
He rapped loudly at the door with his knuckles. It was opened by another footman in livery, with a round face and large eyes like a frog, and both footmen, Alice noticed, had powdered hair that curled all over their heads. She felt very curious to know what it was all about, and crept a little out of the wood to listen.
So they're wearing like the old barrister
I think it's like the old curly white
wigs.
doobies.
Yeah.
The fish footman began by producing from under his arm a great letter, nearly as large as himself, and this he handed over to the other, saying in a solemn tone, anything?
Do you want to make him like that meh kind of voice? Like,
Okay,
there's like quite honky and kind of,
honky but solemn. Okay. Fine.
I'm good at accents.
Good. And this he handed over to the other, saying in a solemn tone,
For the Duchess, an invitation from the Queen to play croquet.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Said Alice.
Yeah.
The frog footman repeated in the same solemn tone.
Maybe to make him croaky.
Great. Only changing the order of the words a little.
From the Queen, an invitation for the Duchess to play croquet.
Then they both bowed low, and their curls got entangled together.
I'm having a right faff there.
You just can't get the help these days, can you?
Alice laughed so much at this that she had to run back into the wood for fear of their hearing her.
That's the first time she's doing something that I would do.
It's so true. It's the first time she's
Laughing at the
behaved
lunacy.
like an actual human being.
It's like, enjoy it. Enjoy yourself. This is amazing. Like, you're going to have the best stories for the rest of your life. So start enjoying it, mate.
When she next peeped out, the fish footman was gone, and the other was sitting on the ground near the door, staring stupidly up into the sky. Alice went timidly up to the door and knocked.
There's no use in knocking,
Said the footman.
and that for two reasons. First, because I'm on the same side of the door as you are. Secondly, because they're making such a noise inside, no one can possibly hear you.
And certainly there was a most extraordinary noise going on within. A constant howling and sneezing, and every now and then a great crash, as if a dish or kettle had been broken to pieces. Please then, said Alice, how am I to get in?
There might be some sense in your knocking.
The footman went on without attending to her.
If we had the door between us. But, for instance, if you were inside, you might knock and I could let you out, you know,
he said, looking up into the sky all the time he was speaking, and this Alice thought decidedly uncivil.
Do you know what I think's happened? He's locked himself out.
He's forgotten.
He's locked
It's
himself
that Yale lock
out.
again, isn't
He
it?
has. He's locked himself out and he's trying to cover his tracks.
Great.
If you could get the person to knock, that would be great.
That's why he's going,
Taking out the bins again.
Taking out the bins again. But perhaps he can't help it, she said to herself. His eyes are so very nearly at the top of his head. But at any rate, he might answer questions. How am I to get in? She repeated aloud.
I shall sit here, the footman remarked, till tomorrow.
wow.
Great. At this moment, the door of the house opened, and a large plate came skimming out, straight at the footman's head. It just grazed his nose and broke to pieces against one of the trees behind him.
Or the next day, maybe.
The footman continued in the same tone, exactly as if nothing had happened. How am I to get in? Asked Alice again, in a louder tone.
Are you to get in at all?
Said the footman.
That's the first question, you know.
It was, no doubt, only Alice did not like to be told so.
So is he like, I feel like he's almost trying to avoid going, because if the door's open and a plate's flown out, they both could have walked in then.
They could have done.
But the fact he's like, actually, no, I might give it 2 days.
I don't think he
Is
was.
there
Some
some
like
kind
domestic,
of domestic abuse situation going on inside or something? Maybe the Duchess is throwing plates and he doesn't want to face her.
Go for a walk. You don't need to stay there.
No.
Go to the pub.
Yeah, exactly. Go home.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
no,
true.
actually, no, they live in servants. Maybe they live in servants.
Not a very big house, though. Imagine, like, I don't know, in my head it's sort of like a little box house.
Yeah.
Or is it just 4 foot high, but huge?
Yeah, but you when you think royalty, you think palace or castle rather than house. It definitely said house as the description.
It did, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Could be like Somerset House.
Oh, yeah, true.
Because if you're not London familiar, very big.
Yeah.
Huge.
Fountains. And it was the Duchess. I hope she does.
They're using it in that upper class smug way. It's like, oh, it's just a house. And then you turn up and the driveway's a mile long or something.
Yeah.
It's really dreadful, she muttered to herself. The way all the creatures argue. It's enough to drive one crazy.
Is she saying that to herself again?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she muttered to herself.
Okay.
Back in the room.
Yeah.
The footman seemed to consider this a good opportunity for repeating his remark, with variations.
I shall sit here, he said, on and off for days and days.
But what am I to do? Said Alice.
Anything you like,
Said the footman, and began whistling. I can't whistle. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I find this because the first thing she said when she kind of got the mushroom and kind of the power to control her own height was, I'm going to go and find the garden. And now it's like, oh, a house. And she's just gotten completely distracted again, hasn't she?
Very short attention span.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no use in talking to him, said Alice desperately. He's perfectly idiotic. And she opened the door and went in. The door led right...
That was easy.
Yep. Just
After
strolled
all
in.
that, how do I get in? Oh, do you know what? I'm just going to try the handle.
The door led right into a large kitchen, which was full of smoke from one end to the other. The Duchess was sitting on a 3-legged stool in the middle, nursing a baby. The cook was leaning over the fire, stirring a large cauldron, which seemed to be full of soup.
So we've got 2 new characters.
Wow. We've got to be.
We'll find out if they talk.
There's certainly too much pepper in that soup, Alice said to herself.
How
As
do you
well-
know that?
As well as she could for sneezing.
Oh, okay.
It's got up her nose, hasn't it?
Yeah.
There was certainly too much of it in the air. Even the Duchess sneezed occasionally, and the baby was sneezing and howling alternately without a moment's pause. The only things in the kitchen that did not sneeze were the cook and a large cat, which was sitting on the hearth and grinning from ear to ear.
Ooh,
Is that
the Cheshire Cat?
Yeah.
Hello.
Unless
character
all the
whenever.
cats are happy.
Yeah,
One's just happen to
exactly.
be more smug than the other.
Not just any old cat grins, you know. Please would you tell me, said Alice a little timidly, for she was not quite sure whether it was good manners for her to speak first, why your cat grins like that. This is where the Duchess says something for the first time.
Can we make her like Spanish?
I'm learning to dread this.
Like a Spanish countess? Or is that...
What?
I don't have a better suggestion. Because it's too obvious for... I mean, because the Duchess could have also been the one that was like, darling.
Yeah. But no, but I'm thinking like, do you remember Little Britain? There was this character called Bubbles.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm imagining that. So pick one, either Italian or like Spanish or whichever one you prefer.
Fine.
I'm imagining like... like plays before she speaks.
Ole.
Flamenco dancer, that's what she is.
She's definitely wearing a flamenco dress.
Spots and everything.
Yes.
Cool. That's, perfect.
It's a Cheshire cat, said the Duchess. And that's why. Pig. She said the last word with such sudden violence that Alice quite jumped. But she saw in another moment that it was addressed to the baby and not to her. So she took courage and went on again. I didn't know that Cheshire cats always grinned. In fact, I didn't know that cats could grin. They all can, said the Duchess, and most of them do.
A stranger's just walked in. Why does your cat grin? Not who are you? What are you doing in my house?
Out.
Like
Commonplace in
yeah,
Wonderland.
it's very bizarre.
I don't know of any that do, Alice said very politely, feeling quite pleased to have got into a conversation. You don't know much, said the Duchess, and that's a fact.
She's got her pegged.
Mm-hmm.
Alice did not at all like the tone of this remark, and thought it would be as well to introduce some other subject of conversation. While she was trying to fix the one, the cook took the cauldron of soup off the fire and at once set to work throwing everything within her reach at the Duchess and the baby. The fire irons came first, then followed a shower of saucepans, plates and dishes. The Duchess took no notice of them, even when they hit her, and the baby was howling so much already that it was quite impossible to say whether the blows hurt it or not. "Oh, please mind what you're doing," cried Alice, jumping up and down in an agony of terror. "Oh, there goes his precious nose," as an unusually large saucepan flew close by it and nearly carried it off.
She's throwing kitchenware at a baby.
Yeah. And it's hitting them and they're just sitting there not minding.
Get out.
What I want to know is, if obviously this was happening before Alice walked in, how much kitchenware does this cook have? Or is she like reloading? Do you know what I mean? Is she throwing it all and then picking it all up and then throwing it again? Or does she just have an infinite supply of saucepans?
I'm going to go
I
with
think the cat's
infinite
helping.
supply.
The cat's passing them back.
The cat's being
The reason the cat is so happy is because it loves violence.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
getting
I
off
think
on
that's
it,
most
yeah.
cats, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's true.
The cat's being like a little backstop and just chucking them down.
Yeah.
If everybody minded their own business, the Duchess said in a hoarse growl, the world would go round a deal faster than it does. Which would not be an advantage, said Alice, who felt very glad to get an opportunity of showing off a little of her knowledge. Just think what work it would make with the day and night. You see, the Earth takes 24 hours to turn round on its axis.
Oh, stop. Not the time.
She loves a planet fact, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Alice?
she's like-
she loves just dropping in like this is what I learned at school.
Yeah.
There's always people that do just shoehorn in stuff they know. It's just like,
Yeah.
they're like, I know. I'm aware of how long a day is, but you don't need
Yeah.
you don't have to be so specific. Boring.
You see, the Earth takes 24 hours to turn round on its axis. Talking of axis, said the Duchess, chop off her head. And Alice glanced rather anxiously at the cook, as if she meant to take the hint, but the cook was busily engaged in stirring the soup, and did not seem to be listening.
So she just shouted, "Cut off Alice's head." I thought it was the Queen of Hearts that
Apparently the
wanted
Duchess
to
can do it
cut
as well.
heads off. Oh, okay.
So she ventured to go on again. 24 hours, I think. Or is it 12? Oh, don't bother me, said the Duchess. I never could abide figures. And with that, she began nursing her child again, singing a sort of lullaby to it as she did so, and giving it a violent shake at the end of every line. Are you ready for this lullaby?
Oh, yeah.
This seems to be the actions of a psychopath, isn't it? It's like, there. Ah! there. Ah! You know what I mean? It's like, what?
Oh, what's this? What do we predict the lullaby is going to be about?
Well, Rockabye Baby's quite distressing. Because it's like, why is a baby in a treetop?
True.
You are going to fall to
out
your
of a tree.
death.
Yeah, basically.
Your bones will crush on the ground.
I wonder if it's like, sleep, little baby. If you don't, we're going to boil you in the soup. That's my guess. Have you got one?
Don't fall on the spikes because they are spiky.
I feel like there's going to be a degree of threat. There's going to be a degree of threat or malice in there.
Okay.
Malice in Wonderland.
Speak roughly to your little boy and beat him when he sneezes.
Yeah.
He only does it to annoy because he knows it teases.
Chorus in which the cook and the baby joined in.
The baby singing his own lullaby now. Okay, cool.
Wow, wow, wow.
Oh, okay, hang on. We need to do this together.
That was the whole chorus.
2, 3.
Wow, wow, wow.
While the Duchess sang the second verse of the song, she kept tossing the baby violently up and down, and the poor little thing howled so that Alice could hardly hear the words.
I speak severely to my boy. I beat him when he sneezes, for he can thoroughly enjoy the pepper when he pleases.
Chorus.
Wow, wow, wow. That was enjoyable.
Here, you may nurse it for a bit if you like.
The Duchess said to Alice, flinging the baby at her as she spoke.
I must go and get ready to play croquet with the Queen.
And she hurried out of the room. The cook threw a frying pan after her as she went out. But
It's so passive-aggressive.
They just had a good old sing-song. Like,
Yeah. Wow. Oh, she's leaving.
do we think this cook's not all right? It's got some sort of
No.
condition.
No. I mean, I'm amazed that a Duchess hasn't managed to find someone else who can do the job.
Her employees are terrible.
But both of them are shocking.
They're either in
And
denial
she's a
about
single
their
mother.
Yeah.
And she has useless staff.
After Alice arrived, social services came.
Alice caught the baby with some difficulty, as it was a queer-shaped little creature, and held out its arms and legs in all directions. Just like a starfish, thought Alice.
It's not that weird.
Yeah. Everyone's star-shaped if you hold your legs and arms.
I was imagining Stewie Griffin, like a rugby-shaped head.
Oh, yeah.
Like Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The poor little thing was snorting like a steam engine when she caught it, and kept doubling itself up and straightening itself out again, so that altogether, for the first minute or two, it was as much as she could do to hold it. As soon as she had made out the proper way of nursing it, which was to twist it up in a knot and then keep tight hold of its right ear and left foot so as to prevent its undoing itself, she carried it out into the open air.
She talks about how she nurses Dinah as well. And now I'm really, really worried that I feel like the RSPCA need to be called, because if this is how she nurses things, she ties them into a knot. Would you say holds the left foot and the ear together?
Yeah. She tied it in a knot, hold the right ear and left foot. There you go.
I think you had it right when you said she was a sadist.
Mm-hmm. This cat can't walk.
No.
This cat's broken. She just feeds it milk and go, no, you can't run away, Dinah. The Cheshire Cat's going like,
Yeah.
no, you're not smiling.
No, he won't be smiling soon.
If I don't take this child away with me, thought Alice, they're sure to kill it in a day or two. Wouldn't
Wait, so she's judging the Duchess,
She's
saying
judging.
that she can't look after this baby and she's tied it
I
into
guess
a
she's
knot.
just tried a bunch of stuff and this is the first thing that made it shut up. Wouldn't it be murder to leave it behind? She said the last words out loud, and the little thing grunted in reply. It had left off sneezing by this time. Don't grunt, said Alice. That's not at all a proper way of expressing yourself.
Is the baby a pig?
I'm getting the feeling it is. We've had the pepper, so I'm waiting for the pig to turn up.
The baby grunted again, and Alice looked very anxiously into its face to see what was the matter with it. There could be no doubt that it had a very turn-up nose.
It's a pig.
Much more like a snout than a real nose.
It's a pig.
Also, its eyes were getting extremely small for a baby. Altogether, Alice did not like the look of the thing at all. But perhaps it was only sobbing, she thought, and looked into its eyes again to see if there were any tears. No, there were no tears. If you're going to turn into a pig, my dear, said Alice seriously, I'll have nothing more to do with you. Mind now. The poor little thing sobbed again, or grunted. It was impossible to say which, and they went on for some time in silence. Alice was just beginning to think to herself, now, what am I going to do with this creature when I get it home? When it grunted again so violently that she looked down into its face in some alarm. This time there could be no mistake about it. It was neither more nor less than a pig, and she felt that it would be quite absurd for her to carry it any further.
So, has this baby turned into a pig, or has it always been a pig? Because it said its eyes started getting smaller.
The more she looked at it, the more it looked like a pig, yeah.
Or is it just that she assumed it was a baby because there was a lady holding it?
But she was doing a lot of sort of pushing and pulling for 2 minutes. You wouldn't have gone, oh, that's a pig. Not like...
Yeah.
And also, like at one point, this baby could join in with the chorus of the lullaby.
It's true.
And now it can only grunt.
Yeah. Maybe it's just like,
Excellent.
maybe it's like as it came out the house. Maybe the house is magic. Maybe the house is what made it a baby.
We shouldn't be surprised by anything.
Well, no, exactly.
Yeah.
So she set the little creature down and felt quite relieved to see it trot quietly away into the wood. If it had grown up, she said to herself, it would have made a dreadfully ugly child. But it makes rather a handsome pig, I think.
It's quite a good joke.
Would you ever call a pig handsome?
Yeah.
I mean, micro pigs are cute.
Yeah.
And piglets are cute. But adult pigs
have a nice
are
little
pretty
hairdo.
gross.
Yeah.
Bow tie.
Tart it up a bit.
Just in drag.
And she began thinking over other children she knew who might do very well as pigs, and was just saying to herself, if one only knew the right way to change them, when she was a little startled by seeing the Cheshire Cat sitting on a bough of a tree a few yards off. The cat only grinned when it saw Alice. It looked good-natured, she thought. Still, it had very long claws and a great many teeth, so she felt that it ought to be treated with respect.
So has this cat just appeared?
Yeah, well, I think it was in the house and it wasn't in the house, and now it's sitting on a tree branch.
Because, you know, like with the film versions, they often show the Cheshire Cat being able to turn invisible and turn visible again. So I was,
his teeth.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was something that was explicitly described in the book. I mean, we'll find out. Or if it was something that the person who did the movie added that detail afterwards.
Yeah. Cheshire Puss, she added rather timidly, as she did not at all know whether it would like the name. However, it only grinned a little wider. Come, it's pleased so far, thought Alice, and she went on. Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? I need a cat voice.
Cheshire is kind of like... It's a pretty Mancunian sounding accent.
Oh, you're actually going to place him from Cheshire?
I think so, yeah.
Why not?
Okay.
Champagne's open over. Sorry, everyone. By the way.
Well,
he sounds like a Gallagher brother.
Yeah, that was what I was channeling. I know people from Cheshire, and they kind of don't sound like that.
Just do it Mancunian or something like that. Then,
cool.
If that's more of a landmark.
Greater Manchester,
yes.
maybe.
We're saving Scouse. We're not doing that yet. Too valuable.
Yes.
That depends a good deal on where you want to get to, said the cat. I don't much care where, said Alice. Then it doesn't matter which way you go, said the cat.
Say baby.
It's got a tambourine on its head. It's got its hands down going.
He's got an anorak and a fringe.
Yeah. Love it.
So long as I get somewhere, Alice added as an explanation. Oh, you're sure to do that, said the cat.
It's perfect.
If you only walk long enough.
There's something a little bit pervy about this accent that I'm not really enjoying.
Oh, in my head, I was going straight to Ringo Starr doing Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Alice felt that this could not be denied, so she tried another question. What sort of people live about here? In that direction, said the cat, waving its right paw round, lives a hatter, and in that direction, waving the other paw, lives a March hare. Visit either you like, they're both mad. But I don't want to go among mad people, Alice remarked. Oh, you can't help that, said the cat. We're all mad here. I'm mad. You're mad. How do you know I'm mad? Said Alice. You must be, said the cat, or you wouldn't have come here.
Wow, that's the most soul-searching
There it is.
Are we going to find out in like the last chapter that Alice is actually in an insane asylum? And it's going to be like her just like waking up from her meds in a straitjacket in the corner of a padded room.
Alice didn't think that proved it at all. However, she went on. And how do you know that you're mad? To begin with, said the cat, a dog's not mad. You grant that? I suppose so, said Alice. Well then, the cat went on. You see, a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Now I growl when I'm pleased and I wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore I'm mad. Well, I call it purring, not growling, said Alice. Call it what you like, said the cat. Do you play croquet with the Queen today? Well, I should like it very much, said Alice, but I haven't been invited yet. You'll see me there, said the cat.
Bragging.
Name drop.
Said the cat and vanished.
Oh, so there you go. So it's kind of implied.
Got vanishing powers.
Yeah.
Alice was not much surprised at this, since she was getting so used to queer things happening. While she was looking at the place where it had been, it suddenly appeared again. By the by, what became of the baby? Said the cat. I'd nearly forgotten to ask. It turned into a pig, said Alice quietly.
She's so like, she's not even still in disbelief. She's like, turn into a pig.
Yeah.
Just as if it had come back.
Like,
Just as if it had come back in a natural way. I thought it would,
What?
said the cat.
Couldn't want me.
And vanished again. Alice waited a little, half expecting to see it again, but it did not appear, and after a minute or two she walked on in the direction in which the March hare was said to live. I've seen hatters before, she said to herself. The March hare will be much the most interesting. And perhaps, as this is May, it won't be raving mad. At least not so mad as it was in March. As she said this, she looked up, and there was the cat again, sitting on the branch of a tree. Did you say pig or fig? Said the cat.
It's got bad hearing. It's got a hearing aid.
Oh, I said pig, Alice replied. And I wish you wouldn't keep appearing and vanishing so suddenly. You make one quite giddy. All right, said the cat, and this time it vanished quite slowly, beginning with the end of the tail and ending with the grin, which remained some time after the rest of it had gone.
So that's why it's in all of the films.
Yeah, they see, yeah.
Explicit in the book.
But if that was your, like, they've all got sort of some sort of power in this Wonderland, and I would do it all the time. It's just
pretty
fun.
good.
That's why it's Sparley. It's just like I'm completely playing with you.
I remember from the last chapter that the dog didn't have any kind of personality or powers because Lewis Carroll hated dogs. So I wonder if because the cat's so fabulous and kind of able to disappear and obviously is very self-aware of his own mental state and the chaos of Wonderland, that he's able to. It's kind of he maybe was a cat person. Maybe Lewis Carroll was.
But at least it's the only character giving straight answers. Yeah. Like I'm so relieved. I was like, a caterpillar was a waste of my life.
Yeah, it's so true.
At least the cat's going like, that's over there. That's over there. Job done. Croquet later.
Yeah.
So, oh, thank you.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, great.
And to boot, he's doing it with a smile on his face.
Yeah,
lovely.
I'm really.
He's been civil.
Yeah.
Well, I've often seen a cat without a grin, thought Alice, but a grin without a cat? It's the most curious thing I saw in my whole life. She had not gone much farther before she came in sight of the house of the March Hare. She thought it must be the right house, because the chimneys were shaped like ears, and the roof was thatched with fur.
It was so bizarre.
So it's just, the house is just a giant rabbit.
That's like us having a house with human ears and made of skin.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That is what this hair is. This is going to be one.
Oh, that's creepy.
Sick little puppy.
Yeah.
It was so large a house that she did not like to go nearer till she had nibbled some more of the left-hand bit of the mushroom and raised herself to about 2 feet high. Even then she walked up towards it rather timidly, saying to herself, "Suppose it should be raving mad after all. I almost wish I'd gone to see the Hatter instead." End of chapter. I'll say I quite enjoyed that chapter. I think because she's progressing, you know?
Yes.
I don't like it when she's just stagnant and just watching a bunch of madness. But at least she's gone through this house, she picked up some more info from a cat, and now she's moved, and we'll swiftly move on to the next one. I think it's quite...
I feel like she's being more assertive.
Yeah.
She's being less kind of like timid. When people
now she's got
behave rudely towards her or something, she kind of seems to call them out on it a bit more.
And now she's got her magic mushrooms, so she's all sorted.
Yeah.
She did abandon someone's child in a wood, though. So.
Well, was it a child or was it a pig? Who knows? Was it always a pig? Was it always a... I don't know. The whole thing with this chapter is that humour's kind of derived from the fact that the inhabitants of Wonderland behave very erratically and kind of crazily, but to them it's completely normal. And that's almost what makes it quite funny, because plates are flying and the footman's just standing there like, yeah, it's just a normal day. I think Alice is starting to learn that she should expect nothing but chaos from Wonderland. That is the order of Wonderland. The order of Wonderland is
no
chaos.
Jeff.
No, there is no Jeffs. Babies are pigs. Caterpillars smoke pipes. You know, the Duchess lives in a hovel with a cook that physically abuses her.
And rabbits open flans with a flourish.
Wow. Flans with a flourish.
Rabbits open fans with a flourish. There we go.
That's a good tongue twister there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, does this mean that we're going to be meeting the March Hare and this is the Mad Hatter's tea party coming up, if my timeline is correct?
Well. I can reveal that chapter 7 is entitled A Mad Tea Party.
Oh, there you go. Finally going to meet the Mad Hatter.
Box office. We will be drinking a cup of tea as we read it as well.
Yes, we should get a piece of cake. I think we've got some French fancies in the kitchen. We'll get some French fancies and a cup of tea.
Why don't you have your own tea party? Listening to the podcast on the Central Line. It's like, sorry. So
if you'd like to join the conversation, you can email us at thelazybookclub@gmail.com.
Or drop us a line on Twitter using our handle @LazyBookClubPod.
And we're exactly the same on Instagram @LazyBookClubPod.
We'd also love to invite you guys to subscribe, like, and share. And also, please leave some 5-star reviews. It just helps other people find us. And we'd love to be able to build a community around this thing. So, Chapter 7, A Mad Tea Party. We'll see you next week.